Welcome back to another episode of Believe It, Achieve It. Today, I'm really excited to have with me Lucrezia Bisignani. Lucrezia is the founder and CEO of Kukua, an education entertainment company, building the first African children's franchise, Super Sema. Lucrezia is 29 years old. She's a graduate of Singularity University in Silicon Valley at NASA, and previously trained as an actress at the Oxford School of Drama. She was listed on the Forbes 30 Under 30 2019 Social Entrepreneurs list, was named amongst the 100 most influential Italian women in technology, and was selected by MIT as a Solve Fellow and to speak at Wired 2016 as one of the women who are changing the world. Lucrezia, it's an absolute pleasure to have you with us today.
Thank you, June. So wonderful to chat to you.
No, I mean, with a CV like that, I just feel that we, to get your time and to have you sit with us is such a privilege. And you're solving one of the problems which I feel, I'm really passionate about: education in Africa. I grew up in Lagos, and we chatted earlier that my cousin is one of the investors in your business. And when I saw Super Sema come to life, I was just so delighted for my kids. I put it on, and every morning Iris says, I want to watch Super Sema. And I just get she just goes around the house singing Super, Super, Super Sema.
That is so awesome. We are hearing a lot of these Super, Super, Super Sema. It's
I
definitely
love the
catchy. I think we've done that one very well.
And who came up with the jingle?
We have a fabulous music composer called Phoebe Garrett, and the lyrics and there were various iterations of it, and it was a team effort to get it to where it is now. And Phoebe was very patient with us, continuously changing it until we also couldn't stop singing it. And the kids that were testing it as well as we were developing it, it was always their clear favorite and the one they remembered. So we picked that one.
I absolutely love it. And it's just one of those ones, as you say, it sticks, and it just, every time it comes on, it just makes you so happy, so happy. And again, it takes me back to when I was younger and there was no representation on television. I just remember only having Princess Jasmine, and Mulan, kind of, not really, but there wasn't anyone. I mean, why do you think it's taken so long for the first African heroine to be created?
I mean, it's absolutely crazy when you think about it, and when you think of the numbers currently of the population in Africa. There's around 1.2 billion people in the continent, and 1 billion more babies about to be born over the next 30 years, which roughly means that by 2050, 40% of kids worldwide will be of African descent, which is absolutely amazing to think that, the first Black character on TV started to appear around 10 years ago with Doc McStuffin, which was a girl doctor, so another great character in STEM.
Was that Nickelodeon?
That was Disney, and it was the first of its kind. And then after that, there was Black Panther in 2018, and Black Panther came out a little bit. It came out at the time when we had started to develop the Super Sema world and story, and it was perfect timing for the world, for us, for everyone to understand the importance of such a movie, and also how successful a movie with an all Black cast could be, not only in Africa but worldwide. It could not only have a massive impact and fan base, but also a huge success at the box office, because Black Panther was the biggest box office of 2018. It went on to also win an Oscar. I'm nominated for an Oscar as well. So it was groundbreaking, and it finally showed the world that stories like this were necessary. and could be much loved. I mean, we hope that what we are doing is just the first of a lot more stories that need to come out from the African continent and that are well overdue.
Absolutely. And you spent a lot of time in Africa. I know you're based in Nairobi right now, but what was it like growing up? I understand your parents used to take you around different countries just to show you the reality of the world. But as a child, what did that feel like practically to you?
Yes, it's absolutely my parents' fault. If I love Africa so much, they wanted me and my brothers and sisters to have an understanding of the world and how different and beautiful it was from how and where we were growing up in Rome, in Italy. So they took us on these crazy, adventurous, amazing trips with my brothers and sisters. We're four, and to many places, including many countries in Africa. They were very different trips. We went all the way to visit villages and sometimes slums, and really trying to grasp and understand the different realities.
Yeah.
And as a young girl, I was well, first of all, fascinated by the colors, the people, the beauty, the animals, the music. Every time we would
Yes.
see people, there were all these amazing, like, warm music celebrations, and that is definitely fun as a young girl.
Africans love to party. There's always
Yeah,
dancing and
and
food.
and Italians have that same warmth of
Yes.
like welcoming and family and
Yes.
everything, so that I loved and I felt very connected to. At the same time, I also realized, many differences of how my school looked and
Yes.
how many other kids in lower income communities were growing up and how their school looked.
Yeah.
And when you're young, you don't really understand why, but I think at that age it's enough for you to ask the question, and that has guided me throughout the years to wanting to go back and understand and perhaps do something to change things that I thought I could have a shot at, and have a more positive impact into realities that I deeply cared about and that I had seen and had been part of my growing up.
So were you conscious at that stage that there wasn't any representation on television for kids that didn't look like you?
So not at that age, but it came immediately after when I started Kukua. We began developing mobile apps to help kids learn how to read and write through fun games. And as part of the initial research, I had spent 6 months around Africa, living in urban slums and rural areas, and spending a lot of time with parents, sitting at the back of hundreds of classrooms. And one of the things that we had realized from the start was that the content, the worksheets, the materials that the kids were working with was always, Western and never had, African characters and that sort of representation. So when we started to develop these mobile applications, we thought, the whole world must absolutely be African and be inspired by local realities and have characters. So we worked from the beginning with African artists to create a character in a world that could resonate with kids as they learned. And when we were testing the applications, we were always realizing that the kids, more than even the games themselves, were always mentioning how great the character and who is the character, and that just opened up a whole kind of space for us and we saw that there were almost very, very little, very few cartoons that were African, and that's when we thought, like, why not create around these characters a bigger franchise and an animated series, and maybe next toys, and all the way to having a big African franchise for kids.
And I do love that you've made her this, super smart, because I remember watching Dexter's Laboratory as a child and thinking, well, his sister is pretty smart. She should have been the hero of the cartoon. But I love that it's focused on STEM. Just, having started a company called Mums in Tech in 2015, I've just seen there's just so much opportunity in getting kids excited about technology from an early age. I love that it's on the curriculum.
And it's also really the representation of what we've seen, this generation called Alpha generation, which are the kids in the ages of 4 to 7. They are born with technology at their fingertips.
Absolutely.
And they will grow up in a tech and science driven world. And our hope is that they are going to be the ones to use STEM for, as their superpowers.
Yes.
And that's why Super Sema is kind of redefining the role of superheroes. Like if Sema flies, it's not because she has a magical power, it's because she's built a drone herself.
Yes.
And so that for us was very cool, because these technologies are really blurring the limits of what superpowers and powers can actually be. And of course, we hope to inspire this generation of kids to use it for the good of the world and to solve some of the biggest problems.
And on a practical level, how involved have the local schools been in terms of sort of helping to spread awareness of Super Sema and I guess giving the kids the opportunities to practice some of these amazing experiments, because that's what I love as well. It's everyday kids doing real experiments. What has that been like, and what's the reception been?
So in Kenya now, Super Sema, the animated series, is on one of the largest TV networks, on Citizen TV. And so that, is one of TV is one of the biggest mediums to get the show out there. It airs every day at 3:55 p.m.
Oh, I wish I lived in Lagos, Kenya right now.
Ready for each episode in the afternoon. And coupled with the episodes, we have just created these maker cards, which basically take the experiments and the values and the themes that are portrayed in each episode. And through different activities, it inspires the kids to make them real. So basically, we're trying to create this on-screen, off-screen kind of circle in which the kids watch an episode, they're inspired, and then they have these prompts with these maker cards that they can do with their teachers, with their parents, on their own, to actually bring to life what they've just seen and learned and make it theirs. So we're spreading that. We're going to start spreading that even more with educators in schools, so that it can become part of their everyday life in schools as well.
I love it. Well, my kids tried the balloon experiment, and they were very excited. And this is it. This is what you want, that curiosity to spark it and to get them wanting to understand even more. And they were like, oh, well, how does this work? And why did the kids do that on TV? It's that questioning mindset, which I think we will benefit from as a society. And tell me a little bit about your background, because you studied film and you trained as an actress. Do you find that a lot of those early experiences really prepared you for what you're doing now?
Yes, well, I always say I'm very lucky, and I have my dream job, because when I was very young, I was already on a stage telling stories and acting, and at the same time I was also from my teenage years building a non-for-profit company that was fundraising for projects that I cared for in Africa. And I think now I really have the combination of everything that I loved doing growing up as a young girl into what Kukua has become today. The acting path in my life was a fundamental one, and it taught me almost more about entrepreneurship than anything else. At the heart of it is a storytelling passion. So whether you are on stage or behind it, it is the same. And I always said I would want to use that for something good, something that could change the world. And so this is really kind of connecting the dots of all the things that I've studied and that I was passionate about into into one big amazing team that is really blurring the worlds of entertainment and education, and has the hustling mentality of an entrepreneur.
Absolutely. And then I guess, what you've done is really opened up the stage for others to hopefully attempt to do this. Do you see that as such a big responsibility? Because I guess the success of Kukua will allow others to attempt something similar.
Yes, I mean, whenever we do something, we are always very conscious about how many people we can inspire and help to positively take action. We have been inspired ourselves by other women and women of color who have paved the way before us. In our office we have a big wall with all the, I'm looking at it right now, with all the images, the photographs on the wall printed of all the women that have created amazing things and have made what we do today possible. So anyone from Oprah Winfrey to Ava DuVernay and Michelle Obama.
All the legends. Like you got some big people behind you. You're working with Lupita. How did that come about?
We are having the immense privilege to be working with Lupita, who is an extraordinary actress.
She's a force. She's
and
a force.
Storyteller, yes, because other than being an Oscar-winning actress, one of the biggest celebrities from Africa, she's also an author, a New York Times best-selling author of a children's book, and she was just the perfect fit for what we are doing. I mean, she's also Kenyan, so
yes,
she really connected with Super Sema and the values and what we're trying to do. And it's been a huge privilege for us to partner with her on our work.
Is she doing any of the voices, or is it more on the creative side with the storylines?
She is. She's the voice of Mama Dunia, which is
wow.
Mama Dunia is the tree of Dunia, the world and the village in which Super Sema lives, and it represents the spirit of Sema's mother, which Sema goes to for encouragement and inspiration anytime she feels she needs to be encouraged to keep on going and never give up. The tree manifests itself in the forms of beautiful lights and birds and all sorts of things. And Sema is finally finds her strength to keep moving forwards and saving once again. She has a beautiful part, and the 2-part episodes that are coming out with her character are coming out next Friday. So
brilliant! What one to keep an eye out for us over here. I mean, has it ever felt hard? Have you ever had moments in the creation of your company or on your journey where you felt, that there were obstacles that weren't making it easy for you to get to where you wanted to get to?
I think most entrepreneurs would reply to this question, depending on the half hour of the day, because it literally goes like this, and ups and downs and ups and downs. Right now, I would say no. It's the most fun job in the world. I'm sure in half an hour something will come up. I can say, "Oh my gosh, this is so hard." So it's like that. I mean, it is a very fun, rewarding, impactful job, and everyone in the team feels that, and feel very lucky to be in doing such creative and heart-filling work every day. Of course, there were many hard times, and there will still be many. We always see them as the learning opportunities and the lessons that can help us to create bigger things and be a better company and be better people with a stronger leadership. But of course, anything from its creation, from a production perspective, this was our first animated production, and when it started, a global pandemic hit.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
Those things in the contracts that you write where you're like, okay, this will never happen.
Yeah.
There you go.
Literally.
Now, and we kept on going, and learning along the way, and succeeded. But of course, there were many moments that were tough. And then from more of a company perspective, of course, raising funds, and everything that we have to learn from scratch, which are many things. There's always challenges that come with it, and it's never easy at first. But I think our mindset, that we love to have, is one of kind of eternal learners, and have this humbleness to always know what you don't know, and strive to learn as fast as you can, until you can become an expert at it. And it can be achieved on many different things. So when you have kind of that humble aggressiveness towards what needs to be mastered, then everything is a little bit easier.
I love that you've just used that phrase, humble aggressiveness. And this is something that I personally struggle with, that humility, and not wanting to shout about all the things that we achieve. And I think it's important to inspire the next generation. And I imagine that that's something that you think about, being able to share your lessons, and also just the realities of running a business, so that others are aware of the fact that it's doable, that someone that looks like them is can sort of work really hard but really succeed. And I think that's why I believe in sharing stories, and sort of helping people understand that they can shape their toolkits. And I guess it goes back to just wanting to unpick, what are the things that help you on a day-to-day basis? Do you have like your affirmations? You work with a coach? How do you stay centered and sort of keep shooting for the stars?
So I think, first of all, I genuinely care about the problem that we want to solve, and all my energies are dedicated towards that. And it helps to remind yourself every day why you are doing it. It is not about yourself. It is about what you're trying to solve. I also tell myself, if not now, then when? If not me, then who? And that empowers me to just not let someone else will take care of this. This is important, and I must do what I feel I was born to do, and I must do it for such a greater purpose for my kids and for generations to come. So it's important, and I think that purpose in life is extraordinary to have, and it's really the propelling force that wakes me up every morning and keeps me going no matter what. And every failure is not a personal one. It's one of growth, and it's one that needs to be put into a kind of a bigger narrative of what you're trying to achieve. And again, make it about the problem you're trying to solve, the solutions you are coming up with, as opposed to you tiny self.
Yes, exactly.
I do have a coach. My sister is a life coach, and she is really the light and center of my life, and has helped me through most of the challenging times, but also every day, even in the smaller things. And I think it's of fundamental importance to have a coach when you're running a company. I also happen to have incredible mentors. I owe a lot of the successes of Kukua and what we've been able to achieve to many mentors who have believed in me, in the vision and the mission from the very, very early days. Some in the extremely early days when you're just when you're just crazy, because you're
Yeah.
always crazy until you're not. So
I know that feeling.
I go back to those days and I'm like, how did you even call me a second time?
Yes.
And then with that, it was so embarrassing. How did you even connect me to, like, wow? I mean, and of course, you as a founder you always know where you're going, and you have that certainty that you will get there, because that's, I mean, I always had that, but it's hard to convey and hard for other people to see it.
Yes.
One thing it's when it's in your mind and you know exactly, even if it will take a few years, you will get there. But for all the people who joined and got behind it, it's for me always incredibly humbling, and I am incredibly grateful to all of them. And I always realize how important their mentorship and their role was within anything I have ever done.
So true. And what's next for you in the next 5 years?
Well, a lot of Super Sema. We're gonna have to keep up with the demand now, because our views on YouTube are already skyrocketing. Over the last 2 months, we've hit 6 million views on our channel.
Wow.
And we
Amazing.
want to keep on growing that. We want every kid in the world to watch Super Sema and be inspired by it. Not only kids in Africa who can finally have a role
Exactly.
model, but globally, because if anything, in the last few months, finally, and in the last year, we've realized that the importance of diversity, and for people all over the world to celebrate what's different from them. And I think there's many millennial parents from everywhere, white millennial parents, who really want their kids to grow up with that global mindset, love, and understanding for what's different. And I hope that, as it was for me growing up, it will only expand the beauty of our world and how different and incredible it is. So our goal will be to keep on growing Super Sema's fan base, and soon expand to toys and other experiences that can continue to revolve around Sema's world, and meet kids in different parts of their days, and inspire them and empower them through magical learning opportunities, and ones that are fun at the same time.
Amazing. Well, when you're ready to start selling merchandise, my kids are ready to buy. So
we can't wait to have the Sema doll and bracelet.
Yes.
And there's a lot of role modeling that we hope can come out of it. As of course, we can't wait to see kids doing experiments, and
Yes.
even have the chance to be dressed like Sema.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Can you imagine the next World Book Day? There'll be little girls dressing like Sema. That is a reality. And yeah, mine are ready. So just let us know. So I'm going to end with a quick fire round, just a few questions. What is your favorite food?
My favorite food is pasta al pomodoro, just pasta with tomato.
Nice.
With the original recipe of my nonna, of my grandmother, for her tomato sauce.
Oh, brilliant. And what is your favorite book?
So I have 3 favorite books. Well, I have many more, but 3 are top of my mind. The Ride of a Lifetime, which is the leadership lessons and biography of former Walt Disney CEO Bob Iger, and what he's learned through his career running one of the biggest companies in the world, and acquiring 4 of the biggest companies out there: Pixar, Lucasfilm, Marvel, and 21st Century Fox, all throughout his mandate as CEO of the Walt Disney. So it is an extraordinary book, and very inspiring for me as a CEO. His lessons on integrity and optimism, and how he's dealt with many difficult situations, have really guided a lot of my principles, and helped me in my decision making a lot. Another one, also within kind of my world, I tend to read a lot of biographies, is To Pixar and Beyond by Lawrence Levy, who was the former CFO of Pixar and who, together with Steve Jobs, IPO'd Pixar off the back of their first computer animated movie, Toy Story.
Wow.
And then I would say the third book is a novel. Sometimes I just read for pleasure. I love 40 Rules of Love by Elif Shafak, who was a Turkish writer. And it's the story of how the poet Rumi transforms his apprentice, Shams of Tabriz, into a Sufi through love.
Oh, okay. Well, I've got 3 books that I need to check out. That is super, super cool. And what have you watched lately that you love?
So I watch a lot. We have a religiously movie night on a Sunday. And everything. And the last movie we watched was Ready Player One by Spielberg.
Ooh.
And it was fascinating to see this whole virtual reality and technology driven world of the future and how society and humans had evolved into it. It's definitely kind of a representation of how technologies could also drive the world to be not so much better than the one that it is now. So a reminder of the positive and the negative of how we use technologies these days.
Amazing. And where can people find you?
In Nairobi. We live in Nairobi. Online. Well, first of all, make sure to follow our Super Sema pages. Super Sema official on Instagram and Super Sema on Facebook, and definitely our Super Sema channel on YouTube.
Yes.
All the latest episodes. You just insert Super Sema on YouTube, and you can subscribe to the channel and watch all the latest episodes. I'm also personally on Instagram at Lucrezia Bisignani.
Amazing. Well, Lucrezia, I absolutely enjoyed chatting to you. You are an inspiration, and I can't wait to keep following your journey. And hopefully we'll get Super Sema on our screens here as well, which would be absolutely incredible for the kids. But thank you so much for what you do. You are a source of pure joy and light, and I'm so grateful that what you're doing exists. So thank you for taking the time and chatting to us today.
Thank you, June. Such kind words. Thank you so much.